Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman.
What is up, everybody? Isaac Mashman here, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast that's goal is to help you become a more capable individual and chase after your vision in life, whatever that might be. Today's episode is going to be discussing the state of America and the state of the election. But hey, before you click off, because I know some of you are probably at this point like, oh my God, I'm so sick of hearing all this stuff. It is not going to be anything too political. It is not going to be anything too controversial, but rather a little bit more broad-based and a little bit more self-development based in the center of yourself and not the center of the nation. So guys, don't worry about, me expressing any viewpoints. I know that I expressed certain viewpoints in the past here and there. That is not going to be today's episode. Aside from that, I'm also going to be covering a second topic, and that topic is going to be about how to catch yourself before it is too late. So let's go ahead and hop into this, right? November 3rd was election day here in the United States. I know that I have some of you, who tune in from all around the world, whether that be France. I have some people from Nigeria, Australia, New Zealand, and I appreciate every single one of you who are listening. And this is also applicable to those of you who are in a government where you elect your officials and where you vote your officials in. So as of the time of recording this podcast, this is November 6th. It's 3 days after the election, and there really aren't any certain results as to whether President Trump is going to be reelected or if Vice President Biden is going to start his first term in January as the president of the United States, right? It's at a standstill. They're counting votes. And I know a lot of the people who I'm following, a lot of the people who I'm connected with, a lot of the people who I'm friends with are super, super stressed out because they're either on one side of the coin or they're on the other side. They're like, man, I really want President Trump to be reelected. And then I have a lot of people who I know who are also pro-Biden and they want Biden to be reelected. And it's like, it's been the topic of conversation over the past week. And obviously, for good reason. It is something that is a very big event in American culture and American history. And it also has a ripple effect into your personal lives, in a wide range of different things, based off of tax plans, based off of tax rates, based off of, certain viewpoints when it comes to Medicare and Medicaid. It's just like the economic effects also, for example, I know a lot of people are speculating that if Biden gets elected, the stock market's going to crash. And I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm trying to approach this in a very unbiased way. But regardless, there is going to be a personal impact on every single one of our lives, whether big or whether small. And that impact we are going to be able to control based off of controlling our actions on a small and on a personal level. And I don't say small in a sense of like your personal actions are not meaningful, but I'm saying this in a way of your personal actions compared to the actions of a country or of a nation or as a group of people collectively is rather tiny, right? The more you grow and the more influence you have, the more your actions are going to have effect on other people or on your business or on, your local community. Think about your local representatives who are in your city. Those representatives have a little bit more influence than you do. The mayor of your city has more influence than the city representatives or the council members. And then on top of that, the governor has more influence on a larger group of people. And you could argue that celebrities, you could argue that, public figures such as Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, they have a lot of leverage and power and influence to where their decisions, even if they make them on a small level, will have a huge effect. Right. I remember when Jeff Bezos was getting divorced from his wife, Mackenzie, and that was the number one topic in the news, right? Mackenzie became the most wealthy woman in the entire world because of a decision that was made on a personal level. Because of their status, that small decision became huge. And you're probably wondering, how does this all tie in to one topic? And that simply is that you cannot control everything that is going on around you. You cannot control the world. You cannot control the outcome of the election. You can do things to influence it in a legal way, I would hope. You can do certain things to, maybe express your viewpoints and convert other people to your same ideologies or beliefs or morals. But at the same time, you have to be in control of your own life. You cannot give other people leverage or control over you. And what I see a lot of people doing right now, and I'm sure that if you've been paying attention to the media or any people in your life, what most people are doing right now is letting other people control their emotions and letting other people control how they feel, how they act, or what they are doing on their day-to-day lives. I know a lot of people spent the, election day staring at the polls all freaking day. And I found myself doing that here and there. But what is that doing for my life? How is that contributing to my success, my vision, and where I'm trying to go in life? It doesn't. Right? Staring at a map, refreshing the page is the equivalent of going to Twitter and refreshing your feed and going back and forth, seeing if, your favorite role model or celebrity tweeted something new, or going to Instagram and getting lost in the Explore page. It is quite literally the equivalent of that. And I'm here to tell you that no matter the outcome of the election, no matter what side you are going for, Biden or Trump, or even a third party, or maybe you're just indifferent, that does not matter as much as your decisions on your personal life matter. Guys, I know a lot of times people put a weight on the president. They put a weight on the person to give them free stuff, or they put a weight on the president to, pass legislation that they agree with and that they believe in. But at the same time, those people are at such a huge level and they're out of reach for the average American. You can do things to express your voice and express your opinion, but unless you're getting into politics as a politician or you're trying to be an activist of nature, your voice does not matter in the sense of you're going to be able to spark change. It's possible, but if it does not line up with your goals and it does not line up with who you're trying to be in your career or in your future of what your life is looking like, your voice is not going to really have a large impact, and it's just going to be taking away from your own life and from your own actions and from your own energy to devote towards your actual goals and towards the things that matter. I'm not saying that your voice doesn't matter in a literal fact of, you're just a nobody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. And I don't want you to misinterpret what I'm saying. But unless politics and pursuing that aspect of life and government is what you were doing in life, you should be spending more time on your own hustle or on your own. I don't want to use the word hustle. I hate that word. It's programmed in my mind still. I'm getting rid of it. But if you need to take that energy and devote it towards those actions in your life that will get you the results that you want, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, whether that's financially, right? You're building a business. How do you have the energy to build a business that is going to be scaled to 6, 7, and 8 figures if you're spending 90% of your day scrolling through Instagram, paying attention to political opinions, or going and refreshing Google and seeing the election results to see if the final votes in Georgia have been counted? I'll check it here and there, but I'm not letting it take up and consume the real estate in my mind, right? I know that there's been a meme going on that some people stay, or some topics or some people stay in your mind rent free, right? Like it's the number one thing that you think about, whether that's a significant other, whether that's a celebrity crush, whether that's your business. What is taking up the most real estate and the most time and energy in your mind right now? Is it politics? I want you to ask yourself that question right now. And if it is politics, you need to relieve and alleviate yourself of that stress and of that weight and refocus and realign yourself with what is truly important in your life. Where is your health at right now? Is your health where you want it to be? Is your finances where you want them to be? Could you be making more money? Do you want to be making more money? That's the better question. Do you want to be in better shape? Do you want to have better relationships? Do you want to have more influence online? Are you trying to build up a personal brand for yourself? Are you trying to become more educated? What is important to you? Rank those things out. I talk about this, it seems like every single episode, of just, really emphasizing the understanding of what you want. A close person who's in my life is going through a major life change and they're quitting their job, right? And we were having a conversation the other day, and that person was like, I really want to write a book, but it seems like I've put that on the back burner for so long. And I haven't really focused in on what I wanted to do in my life because I was working jobs and because I was doing other things and starting up, some different side businesses. But I never really did the one thing that I really wanted to do. And I was talking to them and I said, well, if the book is what you really want to do, and that's the one thing you put on the back burner, why don't you bring it to the forefront of your mind and actually start pursuing the vision for what you want in life? That is what I am all about. That is what this podcast is all about. Reminding yourself or really, encouraging you to go after the things that you have once wanted, but you put behind you because the influences of the world got in your head, because your mom told you that you couldn't pursue that dream, or because your significant other was like, you need to focus on getting a real job, or stuff like that. That is what I'm all about. But you cannot go and actually chase after your vision and effectively become successful, right? You could chase after your vision, but are you going to become successful at it? Chances are you will not, because you are not devoting the amount of effort, time, or energy that you should be devoting to it, simply because you're devoting it to other sources. That's really, if I could sum up this podcast up till now, it would be pay attention to where your energy is going, right? This goes outside of politics. With everything else that is going on in the world, are you paying attention to the coronavirus right now? Are you paying attention to wars? Are you paying attention? I remember back, in the beginning of 2020, everybody's like World War III. Oh my God. Everybody was paying attention and devoting their energy to that, and devoting their energy to COVID, and devoting their energy to the election, and to, everything else that is going on. Very few people were actually devoting that energy to, the things in their life that were important on a personal level. I'm not saying that none of these subjects that I just mentioned are not important, because they are. But that does not mean that just because something is super important, you should spend all of your time dwelling on it, or thinking about it, or reminiscing about it. There's a point where you have to recognize what has happened. You have to acknowledge what has happened, and you have to move forward at a rapid pace, at a quick pace, and focus on what you need to focus on. Realign yourself with that vision and go in that direction. Acknowledge it, view it, accept it, and then leave and move on, right? Like make a transition, and really you have to acknowledge it, and so what? If you cannot control it, then why are you spending so much time thinking about it? Same thing about dwelling on your past. Are you thinking about the same thing that happened, back in 2015, or what you should have said in that argument, or what you should have done differently? Or are you focusing on what you're doing today and where you're going? And that's been a big part of my life that I've had to focus on, because I had this very bad thing where I was OCD about rethinking and reminiscing over my past, and I would beat myself up, but I was devoting all of my energy towards that, and I was not moving forward in life. I had the self-awareness to acknowledge that that's what I was doing. And then I went ahead and focused on where I was going. And that's why I'm able to tell you right now that it makes a lot more sense focusing on the things that are important on a personal level than what is important on a global scale, or on a scale to where everybody else is working. See, the people who are actually succeeding right now are the people who are acknowledging what is going on, or maybe not even paying attention to what is going on, and selfishly pursuing their own goals. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, as long as you're not stampeding on, the lives and well-beings of other people. You have to be selfish about your goals. I did an episode on that earlier, where I was just brutally honest and saying, be selfish about what you want in life. Like, guys, I'm not looking for anybody else to dictate my life but myself. So again, where's your energy going? And now the next thing that I want to talk about is something that I was thinking about earlier today when I hit the gym. And that is, are you falling back? Like, are you falling behind on where you're trying to be at in life? And to give you a little bit of a backstory, I've slacked off on my physical health lately. It's been months since I've actually had like a really solid workout to where I broke into a sweat. Like, I've done like maybe 2 or 3 workouts in the past month, and I feel horrible. I've gained weight. I've gotten more, a little bit more flab on me than I would like, and really since back in 2018, I really haven't put an emphasis on my health as much as I should have been. And I was falling behind, and it would get worse. And then my diet would decrease in health and well-being, right? I would eat worse. I would eat crappier food. I would go to fast food restaurants, or I would overindulge in things. And I was just feeling kind of gluttonous. I'm not going to lie. And I recognized, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad that I recognize and acknowledge this right now, and that I'm kind of transitioning into this attitude of, hey, I was falling behind. That's okay. What can I do to get on track? Because what most people do in life is they'll acknowledge what they're doing, and that what they're doing is wrong, and then they'll procrastinate and put it off. That's why people get beer bellies. That's why people get a couple 100 pounds overweight. That's why people, let their marriages fail. That's why they let their businesses go bankrupt, because they see and acknowledge problems, but instead of actually taking action on the things that they notice, they just let it slide and they procrastinate and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off until eventually it becomes a major, major issue. It's like if you see a hole in the wall, or like, let's say the foundation of the house is starting to fail, right? Like maybe the house is a little bit older and the foundation is eroding, and you see that and you notice it. You could either go and get that foundation fixed, or you could put it off for a couple more years or for a couple of more months. And the next thing you know, you have a major hurricane or storm blow through and the foundation of the house sinks in. And now you have $25,000 in damage, whereas you could have paid a couple $1,000s and got it fixed, but you let it fail. Or maybe the entire house fell down, right? I use the example in a couple podcasts ago about the dam, right? You see a little crack in the dam, and then eventually it grows and expands into a major, major issue. And the pressure goes against this one crack in the dam. And then next thing you know, the entire dam breaks and the entire thing falls. That's what most people do in their lives. They acknowledge things and they do not act on the things that they should act on. I'm here to tell you that if you have, something in your life and the results are not where you want them to be, don't put what you need to do off. You can't be lazy about this. You can't be lazy about your pursuit of goals and your vision and of success. You have to be very, very, I would call it ambitious and aggressive. Be militant about your goals. Be militant about your vision. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the only way that you actually have success. It's having that 1% mindset, not just in the sense of 1% financially, but what would the top 1% of people in physical shape be doing right now? Acknowledge what you want. I keep using the word acknowledge because that speaks to self-awareness. Acknowledgement is self-awareness. If you are self-aware, you are able to acknowledge the things that the majority of people would not be self-aware enough to acknowledge in the first place. This is giving you an advantage over everybody else. This is literally your golden ticket, Willy Wonka's golden ticket towards success, towards achievement, towards wealth, towards well-being. I know a lot of people too, especially when it comes to financials, they don't really emphasize health. And what a lot of people do is they let their health get so bad because they're pursuing their wealth that they try to buy back their health when they achieve that wealth. And it doesn't work like that. Part of becoming this person who you're trying to become is pursuing your potential in all areas of life, not just in one aspect, but in all areas. What could you do to be better? What could you do to improve your well-being and your status? That is the question that you have to ask yourself. The president isn't going to do this. Biden isn't going to tell you to get up in the morning and go work out. He's not going to tell you to send those messages to prospects. He's not going to tell you to close clients. President Trump is not going to be over here in your ear telling you to create content for social media or to go out and network or to go hit the gym. He's not going to do that. Your third-party candidate, Kanye West, isn't going to be over here, motivating you and inspiring you. No, you have to do it yourself. And it doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. You just got to do it. You got to do it regardless. And that's where the magic will happen. If you are able to train yourself to do the things that you do not want to do, and you do it anyway, that's the 1% mindset. That's the attitude that you have to have in order to go out and actually become this individual that is living up to their potential. That's what I'm striving for. I'm running on the treadmill today, and I'm focused in, I'm listening to some music, I'm blasting some metal in my ears. I'm not even going to lie. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, I am doing this because I know that my health is not where it is at, that are not at the level that I know it could be at. And I'm reminding myself, and I'm putting this mental image in my brain of, this is what I am working towards. This is the shape that I'm going to look at. When you find it difficult to look in the mirror, or when you find it difficult to, wake up in the morning and get going in the day because you're so far behind in certain aspects of your life, that's a clear red flag. Yo, Isaac, yo, Jimmy, yo, Billy Bob Joel, this is, okay, it's time to get shit together. It's time to get your shit together. Stop babying yourself. And with that being said, guys, no matter the outcome of the election, no matter the outcome of the representatives in your state, the House of Representatives, or no matter what craziness happens in the next couple of months of 2020 or 2021, none of it will still matter as much as your personal decisions matter in your life. That's for you to decide. Where do you want to come out in 2020? How do you want to start 2021? How do you want to, go ahead and end off, another birth year? Do you want to be in the same shape that you were in last year? Do you want to be, in the same financial bracket as you were for the past 20 years? Or are you actually trying to scale? Are you actually really serious about your potential? And I know it's easy. Everybody's probably saying, I know all of you are like, yeah, I want to be better. I don't want to be in the same. Prove it. If you say it, you have to do it. Just saying words and not following through with action gives you a bad rep. Makes you look like the boy who cried wolf. I did that for the longest time. And eventually I got away from it, and I was just thinking to myself, Isaac, if I'm actually going to be about this, I have to do it. I have to show it myself. And that's when I started to take myself serious, and I stopped being, a little wuss. How bad do you really want this? How bad do you want your goals? And this is just some real talk. I've talked to a lot of people over the past, couple of years and over the past couple of months, and they're like, I want to do this. I want to be big. And their actions are not matching their words. It's not their actions are not matching their visions. And the 1% don't let everything else going on around them hold them down, hold them back, or let it, be a detriment to what they want in life. Have the attitude of the 1%, not financially, but in all areas. What would the top performer in this aspect of life be doing? How would they be thinking? You have to think and visualize and imagine yourself in the place that you want to be and follow that up with action. Follow that vision up with enough militance and enough aggressiveness to where success is inevitable. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I want you to do. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, and be on the lookout for Friday Fire, this upcoming Friday, obviously. And I got some really cool things lining up in the future. Podcast is going in the direction that I want it to be. Got my website up and going finally, isaacmashman.com. Go check it out. Still got a lot of things that I'm working on with that. But hey, if you're interested in personal branding or you're getting your brand looking right online, I've been working with a lot of different clients lately, some actresses, some actors, some models, some entrepreneurs, some audio engineers, some rappers, some producers. I've been working with a lot of different people. And if you're trying to be taken serious on and offline and build something that is going to have a long-term level to success, hit me up. Let's go in and talk. I'm more than willing to work with anybody and everybody. And let's go ahead and crush the next couple of months leading into the new year. And as always chase after your vision. Much love.